Hi, everyone. Let's talk about something important today. Let's talk about smart women. Not just intelligent women, but smart women who lead, who inspire, who create change. And not because they follow rules, but because they understand the principles behind those rules. See, smart women don't play by society's old, outdated playbook. They know that real success isn't about doing what everyone else expects, it's about leading with purpose, with integrity, and with a vision that's bigger than themselves. Smart women understand that real success isn't about gaining approval from others. It's about staying true to their purpose. Too often people, especially women, are conditioned to seek external validation. Whether it's through praise, promotions, or social acceptance, many fall into the trap of measuring their worth based on how others perceive them. But those who lead with impact don't operate this way. They recognize that approval is fleeting, inconsistent, and ultimately outside of their control. Purpose, on the other hand, is unwavering. It is a guiding force that keeps them focused even when the world doesn't immediately understand or support their vision. When a woman leads with purpose, she makes decisions based on what is right, not what is popular. Popularity is a moving target. It shifts based on trends, opinions, and external factors. But doing what is right, that is a foundation that never crumbles. Many women in leadership positions face moments when they have to choose between standing firm on their values or conforming to the expectations of others. The smart ones choose to stand firm. They know that not everyone will agree with them, and they are okay with that, because they are not here to please everyone, they are here to make an impact. This doesn't mean they are reckless or dismissive of others' perspectives. In fact, they listen carefully, they seek feedback, and they remain open-minded. But they do not let the fear of disapproval override their convictions. They understand that every great leader, innovator, or change maker in history faced resistance. Whether it was fighting for equal rights, breaking barriers in male-dominated industries, or standing up against unethical practices, the women who changed the world did not do so by asking, "Will they like me?" Instead, they asked, "Is this the right thing to do?" That shift in mindset is what allows them to lead with confidence. One of the biggest pitfalls of chasing approval is that it leads to self-doubt. If a woman constantly seeks validation, she becomes dependent on external affirmations to feel worthy. And the problem with that is simple: external validation is unreliable. What people approve of today, they may criticize tomorrow. Smart women do not allow their self-worth to be dictated by the shifting opinions of others. Instead, they root their confidence in something deeper: their values, their vision, and their ability to create meaningful change. Another consequence of prioritizing approval over purpose is that it often leads to playing it safe. Many people hesitate to take bold steps, voice controversial ideas, or challenge the status quo because they fear backlash. But progress is never made by those who stay in their comfort zones. Smart women recognize that sometimes making a real difference means making people uncomfortable. It means being willing to have difficult conversations, make tough decisions, and stand alone when necessary. But they also understand that true respect doesn't come from being agreeable, it comes from being authentic, principled, and courageous. Fear is a natural part of life. It exists to protect us, to keep us safe from harm. But when it comes to making decisions, fear should never be in the driver's seat. Smart women understand that while fear is always present, it should never be the determining factor in how they navigate their lives, careers, and ambitions. They acknowledge fear, but they do not let it control them. They know that every significant achievement, every bold step forward, requires moving past the discomfort of uncertainty and into the space of possibility. One of the greatest challenges many women face is the fear of failure. Society often places an unspoken pressure on women to be perfect, to avoid mistakes, and to always have everything under control. But smart women reject this unrealistic expectation. They recognize that failure is not a sign of weakness, it is a necessary step toward growth. They embrace mistakes as learning opportunities, understanding that setbacks are not the end of the road, but rather a detour leading to something better. Instead of being paralyzed by the thought of failing, they ask themselves, what can I learn from this and how can I use this experience to improve? Another common fear that holds people back is the fear of judgment. Women, in particular, often feel the weight of others' opinions. They worry about being perceived as too ambitious, too outspoken, too assertive. But smart women know that no matter what they do, someone will always have an opinion. They do not let the fear of what others might think dictate their choices. Instead, they focus on their own values, their goals, and their purpose. They remind themselves that people who criticize often do so from their own insecurities, and that playing small to please others serves no one, not themselves, and certainly not the world they are trying to impact. There's also the fear of stepping outside of comfort zones. It's easy to stay where things are familiar, where routines feel safe, and where risks seem minimal. But growth never happens in comfort. Smart women understand that in order to evolve, they must be willing to step into the unknown. They push themselves to take on new challenges, to speak up in rooms where they once felt small, to go after opportunities that seem just beyond their reach. They know that while comfort feels good, it is often the enemy of progress. True success comes from taking action, even when uncertainty is present. Another fear that can be particularly difficult to overcome is the fear of success. It may seem counterintuitive, but many women hesitate to fully embrace their potential because they worry about what success will mean for them. Will they still be accepted by their peers? Will they be able to handle the added pressure and responsibility? Will they be resented for their achievements? These questions can create a subconscious resistance to stepping into leadership, taking on bigger roles, or pursuing dreams that feel too ambitious. Smart women recognize these fears for what they are: limiting beliefs designed to keep them in place. They choose to move forward anyway, knowing that their success is not just for them, but for those they inspire along the way. Ultimately, fear will always be there. It will whisper doubts, create hesitation, and try to convince people to stay in their comfort zones. But smart women know that courage isn't about being fearless, it's about taking action despite fear. They remind themselves that every great leader, every trailblazer, every woman who has ever changed the world has felt fear. But what sets them apart is that they didn't let it stop them. They made decisions based on their vision, not their fears. And that is what makes all the difference. Building a strong network is not about collecting contacts or knowing the right people for the sake of appearances. It is about forming genuine connections, relationships that are built on mutual respect, trust, and a shared desire to see each other succeed. Smart women surround themselves with people who inspire them, who encourage them to aim higher, and who are willing to give honest feedback. They seek out mentors who have walked the path before them, peers who understand their journey, and mentees whom they can guide and support in return. One of the reasons relationships are so important is that challenges are inevitable. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. During these times, having a strong support system makes all the difference. Smart women do not isolate themselves when things get tough. They reach out, ask for advice, and lean on those who believe in them. They understand that vulnerability is not a weakness, it is a strength. It takes courage to admit when help is needed. And the most successful women know that seeking support is a sign of wisdom, not failure. Smart women also know that lifting others up does not take anything away from their own success. They celebrate the achievements of their peers, mentor those coming up behind them, and create opportunities for others. They understand that competition is not the key to progress, collaboration is. When one woman succeeds, it creates space for others to do the same. By supporting each other rather than tearing each other down, they create an environment where everyone can thrive. Another critical part of never walking alone is recognizing the importance of diverse perspectives. Smart women do not surround themselves only with people who think, act, or look like them. They seek out different viewpoints, knowing that diversity strengthens decision-making, creativity, and innovation. They listen to voices that challenge their assumptions and push them to grow. They understand that the best solutions, the best ideas, and the best leadership come from an environment where multiple perspectives are valued and heard. Smart women understand that success is never a solo journey. No matter how skilled, intelligent, or ambitious they may be, they know that real, lasting success is built on relationships, collaboration, and support. They do not buy into the myth of the self-made individual. Instead, they recognize that the strongest leaders, the most successful professionals, and the most fulfilled individuals all have one thing in common. They have a network of people who support them, challenge them, and lift them up. In both personal and professional settings, smart women invest in meaningful connections. They make time to nurture relationships, understanding that networking is not just about career advancement, but about building a community of people who genuinely support one another. They check in on their friends, offer help without expecting anything in return, and show up when it matters. They know that strong relationships require effort, and that trust is built over time through consistent actions, not just words. At the core of this mindset is the belief that no one achieves greatness alone. The most accomplished women in the world did not get there by isolating themselves. They got there because they had people who mentored them, championed them, and believed in them, even when they doubted themselves. Smart women pay this forward. They recognize that their success is not just about them, it is about paving the way for others, about creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond their own achievements. They know that true success is not about standing alone at the top, but about bringing others along for the journey.